Richmond Roxon Esquire. He is the PRO for the Energy Ministry, so the Ministry of Energy and Green Transition. We also have energy consultant or analyst Kojo Poku with us on. So Kojo Poku will be joining us via Zoom, and I'm told that we have Kojo Poku now. So we want to start from him. Kojo, I mean, you have vast, experience and knowledge in this whole energy thing. Anytime there's going to be a shutdown, there are implications. What do we know of this particular shutdown that is going to happen?
Good morning and good morning to your viewers. And a special good morning to Miss Sweetie Abochi, who I know is last days on Friday. Sweetie, you'll be missed. But I'm coming with you wherever you're going. Yeah, I mean, you're surprised I know these things, right? I mean, I have my...
So, Kojo, let's talk about the gas. Kojo, let's talk about the shutdown of the Atuabo gas plant. My plans are for private discussions. So, what do you make of this?
So we shouldn't wish you well.
Kojo, let's talk about the gas plant shutdown, please. Let's move on.
Anyway,
what are your initial thoughts for us? Yeah.
Yes, my initial thought is what I'm on, and you don't want me to go on my initial thoughts.
No, anyway. She's asking your initial thought on the shutdown.
Kojo, you're very mischievous. You're very, very mischievous. Let's continue the conversation.
Okay, so we all know that we have about 70% of our national generation as thermal. And in thermal, the main energy used in thermal is gas. We get about 100 to 110 mm scarf per day from Ghana gas. So that's one of our major suppliers, which is the gas from Jubilee, which is now treated at Ghana gas. So every year, Ghana gas does what you call a yearly routine maintenance. And this is one of the yearly routine maintenance. So there's a complete shutdown of the Ghana gas plant in Atuabo. And basically, the implication is that we are losing about 100 mm scarf a day in gas supply. There's been a lot of plans that has gone into it, and naturally, there should be some outages here and there. But that is augmented with the supply of liquid fuel and also proper planning. Especially within this period when the maintenance is being done, the demand, we are the lowest point of demand in our cycle because, when the Aboriginal people have their winter, Ghana too, we get winter. So this is our cold part of the year where most people don't turn on their air conditioning. So we are about 300 to 350 megawatts off in terms of our peak. So this is the best time to undertake such maintenance. So if there's going to be any outages, it's going to be very minimal.
Well, so you say it's going to be minimal. Does it mean that we don't expect to be told that, we're having some intermittent power outages because of probably uncertainty?
Well, no. You see, these things, and I've always said this, that, look, the ministry is managed. If you manage the sector well, you will be able to get over some of these things. And it's not the first time that maintenance or routine maintenance is being done. If you manage it well, you'll be able to get through the period without any major outages, right? There are going to be outages because it's localized problem. But again, because there are two things going in favor for the sector. We have the low demand on the grid. We've also been able to look at some incremental in our gas supply. We all heard ENI basically shutting down and increasing about 30 mm scarf from ENI. We've got another 30 mm scarf from Nigeria, which is giving us another from 70 to 100. So in the incremental of gas, we have about 60 mm gas extra on the supply side, which means that when the 100 from the 100 from Ghana gas is not coming, you complement that with crude oil to send power. And I'm told that SunPower has enough crude to basically take us through this 15-day period. So like I said, if there's going to be any disruption, it's going to be very minimal.
But what would this minimal disruption look like specific, so that consumers can know exactly what to expect.
Outages. You might get outages here and there, but it wouldn't be for a longer period. Look, if we are taking 100 SCF out of our system, it means that there will be no gas to car power. There will be barely enough gas to most of the plants in Tema, and then there will be no gas at all to the Kumasi enclave, okay? But like I said, if that is augmented with SEM power coming on, AXA getting some HFO, then in terms of what we need to shed, if we are shedding load, it will be very minimal. I don't have the specifics, but if there is any load to be shed, I don't think it will be huge. Again, you can also zero out the exports during peak hours so that Ghanaians know there is a mandate that Nana Addo put in place when he was president, that whenever there is less supply in the Ghanaian market, we zero out exports and we give the demand, we give the supply to the Ghana market. So even in the peak period where demand might go up, they can zero out the 200 to 300 megawatts going to the export market and give that to the local market. So like I said, if there's going to be any outages, I don't expect it to be very huge for a longer period of time.
Okay. So Richmond Nelson also joins us now. And Richmond, we want to understand from, well, according to the ministry, this plan, Richmond Roxon, beg your pardon. So according to the ministry, this planned suspension of the gas supply will allow for critical inspections, repairs, and upgrades to enhance the plant's efficiency and reliability. And Kojo was just saying that the impact of that will be minimal. We can expect some outages, but let's hear from you exactly what consumers should do to get ready for this shutdown.
Good morning to you. Good morning to your cherished viewers, and thank you for the opportunity. We're not expecting any load shedding. We're not expecting any interruptions in power supply. This is a scheduled maintenance that the ministry has taken steps to plan carefully. If you notice in the statement, we mentioned that the ministry, led by the Minister, Honorable John Shinapo, has approved the request. It is because at the time of taking over the ministry, we noticed that most of the plants had not undergone maintenance. The maintenance had been deferred. Some of them exceeded the time when they were supposed to do maintenance, and it was threatening our energy security. So the minister said over the past days had steps to plan to ensure that the energy of this country is not threatened. So yes, ideal time. The minister has approved the request, which is for 15 days, and within the will also be adequate provision to ensure that no load will happen within the period.
You're saying, go ahead. But
let me come in here. Are you saying that when you took over, the Ghana Gas plant had not gone on maintenance for some time?
When we took over, some of the maintenance had been deferred, and you will also recall that in April we even had first maintenance, and we see that across, especially with some of the state-owned institutions and power plants. And so over the period, we've had a lot of maintenance work quietly. And with Akosombo itself, Tiku, Tapu, most of them have undergone maintenance. And we also have scheduled maintenance for some of them later in the year.
But you're not saying the Atuabo gas had not gone on maintenance since, by the time you took over, right?
No, I said that the maintenance had been deferred.
How many maintenance does the plant undergo in a year?
Oh, it depends. That will be detailed information provided by Ghana Gas. So it will depend on the schedule maintenance. Sometimes you have emergency maintenance depending on what the status is. But
because what I know is that this is the planned maintenance the plant undergoes. And last year, in August, from I think the 1st to 17th, the plant was shut down for maintenance.
That is so. And that is why I said that when we took over, some of them had been deferred. For example, after that maintenance, quarterly normally they would do a maintenance, but the next one happened this year in April. So if you're supposed to do another maintenance after August, and now you move to April, I'm sure that you can do the timeline. And that's why I said that the ministry has steps to ensure that once test is made and it's time, the approval is for these plants to undergo scheduled maintenance to avoid a situation where our security is threatened. But the most important thing here is because of the plans that have been put in place, we are not expecting any load shedding, expecting load management. Other plants will run on wells. So you would have HF available, you have diesel, you have LCU available in the period. We are losing 5 cubic feet of gas because of this.
We lost, a bit of what you said. Something about there are just what?
No, I said that plans have been put in place to ensure that alternative wells are made available.
Okay, so what are these?
We are going to lose 95 million standard cubic feet of gas per day because of the shutdown. But we've made HFO available, we've made LCU available, we've made diesel available for other thermal plants to produce power to make up for the deficit. In fact, what the provision we made far exceeds what we are losing. And recall that about 3-4 weeks ago, we had the maintenance DLI, which last supply from 200 mm to 200 mm.
You have to take that again, please. 200 what? It's just, sorry, maybe you can reposition yourself. We're losing bits of your submission.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I want the correct figures again.
Okay. So about 3-4 weeks ago, ENI undertook their upgrade, which increased gas supply from 240 million standard cubic feet to 270 million standard cubic feet. This time, we're losing 95 mm scarf or 95 million standard cubic feet, which is about 40% of what we lost that day. But even that day, we didn't have any load shedding. You remember that people went to town to christen that National Doomsday Day, but the lights were on. And that goes a long way to attest to the work that has been done by the Minister responsible for energy, Honorable John Junapon, with the support of the President.
So this is where you're inferring that confidence that there will be no power outages, like Kojo is saying?
No, there will be no power outages. Because, one, this is way less than what we experienced 3 weeks ago. Number two, it has to do with the plans that have been put in place. If you've made adequate provision, if you've planned carefully for this maintenance, you are confident that you wouldn't expect any interruption in power supply or any load shedding. And let me take the opportunity to also say that even before that, anytime your light goes off as a consumer, we will encourage you to call 0302 611 611, which is ECG's helpline. Immediately your light plays the call, you report it, they will give you a code, they will take your details, a team will be sent to you. Because over the period, one thing we've noticed that because of past experiences, it looks like anytime the light goes off, people assume it is load shedding. But we haven't been shedding load in a long time. At the time this government took over, we're shedding load of 700 megawatts. That's the data from Gridco for December 2024. That has not been the case. Yes, we are shedding 0 load as of today. No load shedding at all. It's been that way for months. So we expect everybody's power to be on at all times. We expect you to have stable supply of electricity. So immediately your light goes off, just call ECG's customer service. They will come and check the fault, whatever it is, they will address it, and then you get your power restored.
What exactly is going into this maintenance? Are we looking at upgrading some of our systems? Can you give us some details in terms of what exactly is happening behind those doors?
I'll just summarize it. There's some upgrades, there's some changes, there's some retrofitting. The goal is to be able to enhance the operational capacity of Ghana Gas.
Okay.
So, Kojo Poku, he's Richmond Roxon is saying that, unlike what you're saying, we should not expect any power outages. Does that inspire confidence in you?
Well, I like to use the word minimal disruption. You cannot guarantee that there's going to be no outages. Look, my brother Roxanne should let us be doing these conversations without the small jabs of politics. You know, he came on to say that when they took over, maintenance has been deferred, and I like when hosts have done their research, and there was a pushback, and he had to take it back. That, you know, the maintenance was never deferred. Last year, the routine maintenance for Ghana Gas was done, and as pointed out, it was done in August. Look, when you took over, there was no load shedding. Let's not, you know, today, we can play tapes of Kojo Poku on Joy, giving this same number that you have given. Whenever I have said that when your light goes off is a localized problem and people should call ECG, and Ms. Abuchi will take me on and Bernard Papo will take me on and say, no, it's not true. Today, Roxanne is giving the same information out there that when your light goes off, it's a localized problem. We've been saying this for 2 years now. But NDC wanted people to believe that there were something called doomsday going on, and today is no longer. Look, the most important thing is that in this period, I could know that there's enough fuel in place. We know that there is enough planning that has gone on. It is being done in a weather that takes less demand on the grid. So there would be minimal or no disruption. But I cannot put my hands on my chest and say that no lights will go off. In the sector that we run, other things that will cause outages, nobody can put their fingers on. But we know that the ministry and the sector has planned well, and there will be minimal disruption, if any.
Kojo, I just want to ask, as at the time you were saying outages were localized faults compared to the number of times you were getting these reports, there's a difference, no? I mean, it was more rampant, and the reports, Kojo, hold on. It was more rampant, and the people who were calling in to complain or the people who brought it to attention that they were experiencing outages was much more compared to this particular time, no?
No, the lights are still going off. There are a lot of localized problems around the country. The only problem is that some of us who don't do politics with these things, because we know that they are localized faults. It's very disingenuous on my part, in one breath, to be on TV to say that they are localized problems, and because governments have changed, I will come and say they are doomed. So no. I would always say that when your light goes off, as my brother Roxanne have said, call that ECG number and they will attend to you. So we know that there are localized problems. There are a lot of localized problems around the country. So there are a lot of outages going on as I speak to you today. It doesn't mean that we will now come and shout that they are doing so. Nobody can come and say that the outages that was there then. But look, like I said, the minister went on meet the press and said that, oh, no light goes off. No light goes off because we are in the winter, where even some weekends we have stranded gas, where there isn't demand on the grid. So now it's allowing some of the hydro plants to also do maintenance, because now we can move more into the thermal and allow the hydros to do their maintenance, which is needed. And the reason some of these maintenance are not done when they are supposed to do is the demand on the grid. This year, we all admit that it's been extremely cold, so there is no need for the huge amount of air conditioners that we need in this country. That is why a lot of the maintenances can go ahead without us seeing it reflect. But look, outages around the country has not stopped.
Okay.
Richmond, I mean, you mentioned about localized fault, and this 0302611611 line is what we can all use throughout the country, right?
Come to that question. You know, data is data. And what Kojo Poku is saying is erroneous. It's not accurate. If you look at the data from Gridco, and Kojo, you are a reputable journalist, you can write under RTI.
I am not a journalist, though.
Pardon, you can write? No, sorry. Talking about the host. Yeah. That you can write to Gridco under RTI to request for the information. In January 2024, we shedded load of 389 megawatts during peak time. In February, the load shed was 478. In March, was 734 megawatts. In April, was 354 megawatts. In May, was 516 megawatts. In June, was 334 megawatts. In July, was 59 megawatts. In August, was 257 megawatts. In September, it was 480 megawatts. In October, it was 400 megawatts. In November, it was 507 megawatts. And in December, it was 720. This is not my data. This is the data that we inherited, that was bequeathed to this government by Gridco. And you can write to them to find out. And so if there is a claim that for 2 years the light has been on, there's no load shedding, it is not accurate. That is not true. Okay. And I've given you the data. I've pointed you to Gridco. You can write to them and request the information. If you go to, that's why when we came into government, when this administration took over, the early days were very difficult because all this information just came up. There was very minimal liquid fuels available. The load shedding was down. A lot of maintenance had been deferred. I don't want to go into mention the specific thermal plants, but you can write to them and they'll provide the information. So when he says that it is not accurate that no maintenance work was deferred, that is not also true. You can take the data, and like I said, I don't want it to be like it's coming from me. You write to the institution and request, and then they will give you the data. In the last couple of months, there's been zero load shedding. Zero. We've gone through the maintenance because the plan is to have excess capacity at a point where when you are having some of these maintenances, you will have additional thermal plants to fall on. And that is where we are getting to as a country. In fact,
but Richmond, sometime in July, it was a Friday, I saw a statement from ECG about planned maintenance work and the areas that it would affect.
That is what they do. Let me come to ECG.
But you said in the last couple of months you've been doing maintenance and there's been no.
My dear, you are confusing the two. ECG carries maintenance, routine maintenance in areas, cable, transformers, every day. As of today, when you go to ECG's website, you go to Power App, you will see. What we are talking about is maintenance when it comes to our plants, power plants. I'm not talking about, we are talking about generation issues. We're not talking about distribution issues.
All right, go ahead.
What you are referring to is distribution. We are referring to power generation. And that is the point I'm making, that because most of these things, in fact, let me not go far. Go and look at WAPCO. Is it February or March? WAPCO also complained because they had deferred their maintenance since last year. We had to have a meeting with them. The minister pleaded with them, planned, and as a result, they carried out the maintenance. So this is across board. It's not something that we are making the data up. If you go to the various institutions, especially the power plants by state institutions, you will know whether what we are saying, we are making it up, or those are the facts. And that is why I said that as a government, the plan is to ensure that the energy security of this country is not threatened, and that at all material times you have stable, reliable electricity. And that is why we've been very quiet in disclosing some of this information. But you do the work so that at the end of the day, the evidence will speak for itself. Yesterday, one of your colleagues, Elton, mentioned that he doesn't remember the last time his lights went off. And that is across the country. If you speak to a lot of people, they will attest that the situation 4 or 5 months ago is not the same as 3 months. And this has continued because we are in winter. The winter only started last month. This situation of not shedding a single load has been so for about 3 or 4 months.
Well, thank you.
But Roxanne, if there are areas where their situation is quite different, what should they do? I'm asking this for a place in the western region, Ahanta West, and pardon me, it's not because that's where I'm from, but that place has regular power outages no matter what point in time we are in a year. So what could be it and what could be the respite that the energy ministry could have for the people of Ahanta West?
What we've noticed is that for some areas, they have peculiar challenges. Let me give a typical example. If you go to the OT regions, part of Volta, getting to the north, there are transmission issues. Some of the lines there are 33 kV lines, so the voltages are generally low. So the government, there's a policy by the ministry approved by His Excellency the President to move from 33 kV lines to 131 or 330, 161 or 330 lines, which is about 5 times or 10 times the capacity of what is there, to be able to have a better transmission. Because if you generate the power and you have transmission issues, you still have some of the challenges that we're seeing. So across the country, these are some of the challenges that we've noticed. I don't know whether Ahanta was part of it. I'll have to check the data. But wherever there are clear challenges, we address the issues, because once you have generation, once you've generated, the next thing is transmission to deal with the challenges, and then you get distribution challenge. We are tackling head on, and that's why it's about 3-4 weeks going massive or to launch Atuabo muscle upgrade side, moving it to
Richmond, I'm losing you. If you can reposition yourself a bit for me.
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes, better.
Yes, that's why about 3 or 4 weeks ago, massive to ensure that the Homaso Atuabo line is upgraded to improve the transmission there. Also, as a government policy, where we've noticed that the grid is difficult to get there, we are introducing mini grid, solar grid system to be able to put them on. So we're in Lala Mountain to land the solar panel, so that such people have transmission difficulties to be there. But out the west, the southwest, and then the best west, we are all.
Your line keeps breaking. But you are stating a very important point by because you say that you'll be checking out on the Western Region 1, but I keep losing you.
Oh, I was saying that I will check with the Western Region 1 what the challenge is, and then whatever steps are to be taken will be taken to ensure that problem is dealt with.
I'll be happy you do that, because when I go home, I don't want to sleep in darkness. So try.
We are all from the West. When we get there, to bring the problem to us. So I will ensure that is done.
At least for nothing at all, you don't want your brother to sleep in darkness, so help us out on that one. We are grateful to you, Roxanne, for your time.
Thank you for it.
Roxanne, Richmond Roxanne Esquire is the PRO and Head of Communication for the Energy Ministry, and also we also had Kojo Pokun, who is an energy consultant, joining us to do this analysis.
Oh, you will give me a last bite.
Okay, let me give you the last bite, Kojo. Let me give it to you. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Look, what my brother Roxanne put out there, in every day in GRIDCO, they have what you call a projected numbers which this grid looks at. It doesn't mean that that is what the operational shortfall is. So don't let him come and give us projected shortfalls in the sector, because GRIDCO has a projected shortfall, but then they go around and see who can give them what. So when I remember I mentioned earlier that when sometimes the load is around 250 or 300, they will now zero out the export and give it to the Ghanaian load. So it doesn't mean that if GRIDCO is giving you that there's a 300 megawatts projected shortfall, we are going to shed load that month or that day. So please, let's put that in context. GRIDCO giving you data is different from what actually transpires in the operational areas. The most important thing that we should all know is that, yes, there's been planning going on. It's not the first time, and maintenance has always been done. There is going to be minimal disruption. We might not get anything at all because, like I said, we are in the cold part of the month. But look, let's for sometimes not be putting these data out there to make it look like there was such a great bad system that somebody inherited. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kojo Poku, energy analyst. And so that's that for this belt of conversation. But we want to bring some important pieces of information to your attention, starting with the EcoBank Journeys Habitat Fair. We're inviting you to make your dream home a reality with EcoBank. Step into your ideal home or transform your current space into one that truly reflects your style and comfort, all with the support from EcoBank. EcoBank has once again partnered with Journeys to bring you an exciting experience at the EcoBank Journeys Habitat Fair. And this year's edition makes your journey to a comfortable modern home even more accessible and affordable. With EcoBank's Buy Now, Pay Later, you can easily renovate, upgrade, or furnish your home to suit your taste and lifestyle. Whether it's elegant home decor, modern furniture, essential electronics like laptops, or solar energy solutions, EcoBank has the right financing tailored to your lifestyle. From staying connected with the latest devices to enhancing or embracing sustainable living, our flexible consumer loans, asset finance, and salary advance products are designed to help you bring your vision to life. Enjoy competitive interest rates, convenient repayment terms, and fast approval from a bank that truly understands your needs. Visit our stand and take the first step towards the home and lifestyle you deserve. Comfortable home starts with EcoBank. EcoBank, be a part of it. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank. Could you tell you more?
You see, I guess you're wondering how you can fit into the world where there's too much unemployment. Well, you need to do things differently. So are you looking to do things differently to level up your skills and get ahead in this challenging job market? We understand, according to statistics, that things are tough out here for university graduates with only a few landing jobs immediately after school. So doing things differently is what you need to do, and that is what the Design and Technology Institute, DTI, is all about. DTI offers programs ranging from precision welding and fabrication, design innovation, which involves graphic design, sound engineering, animation, photography, amongst others, as well as entrepreneurship. Our programs are internationally recognized by the American Welding Society, Pearson BTVET, and CTVET. So you can shine here in Ghana and anywhere in the world. So if you're ready to do things differently and chart your own path, then check out DTI. Visit dtiafrica.com/admissions or call 0541693534. 0541693534 for more information.
Well, let's take a quick break now. When we return, more conversations coming your way on the AM show. Stay with us.